Hey you guys, it's been a very long time since I've made one of these, but I got a good question from someone asking me how to make an audit log, and I thought that that was kind of an interesting one to maybe try and show you guys. An audit log is very simple, and I've made a very simple, quick little example of a database here. This is like a contact database which has some contact information in it. And an audit log is basically going to record changes that you make. For instance, if you change the address, then this audit log will show you which user changed which field and what the old and the new value was. And it might even give you the opportunity to enter the reason for that change. Now, let's see what we've got here in our managed database. We've got a very simple contacts database. It has a few very simple fields. It's really not that important. And I have an audit log table, and I'll just add some fields to that. First of all, we're going to need an ID, which is going to be a serial number. Good. This audit log will be linked to a contact, so we need to store the contact ID foreign key, so let's call it IDFK. It's going to be a number. What else do we need? We need to know which field has been changed, so let's say field as a text field. Then we want the old value in the text field and the new value in the text field. And then we can have a few of those fields like creation date. Let's see, that can be let's give it a timestamp type, and let's say creation timestamp. Okay, then creation account is going to be a text field which will enter the creation account name of the person creating it, so that's good. And we can make the same ones for modified date, and that can also be date is going to be a timestamp. Well, I probably shouldn't be calling it date but timestamp then, but that's fine. And then modified account, that can be a text, and it needs to auto enter the modification account name. Let's see if I got those right. Creation timestamp, creation account name, modification timestamp, and modification account name. We could add a reason text field for the reason of the edit if we want, and then that looks kind of good. Let's go into our relationships. We've got our contacts is our primary thing, our primary table here, and then this is going to be related to the audit log. Contact ID is related to the contact IDFK in the audit log. Let's go and look at the settings. What should we like to have here? From the contacts, I would like to be able to create audit logs, because I'm going to have a script that creates audit log records, but I'm thinking it's probably easiest if I just do that on the layout itself. So I'm just going to do allow creation of records in this table, and I'm going to say that if a contact is deleted, I don't need their audit log records anymore. So I'm going to delete the audit log records in this table when a client or a contact is deleted in the contact table. Okay, that looks kind of good to me. I think we can go back to our contact layout, and let's go ahead in layout mode. I don't need the field picker right now, and let's see if we can add a portal, because we're going to see our audit trail in a portal. Which one was portal again? That's a tab thing. I think this is a portal. I'm not getting any of the help. Yeah, portal tool. Cool. Let's just drag it up here, down here. Let's say we want our audit log to show up. I want to be able to delete. No, probably not, because I don't want to mess with this. Let's show the vertical scroll bar. Sure, 5 rows. Okay, for now. What do we need? Field, old value, new value, and then creation date and account. Let's just put those in there for now. The reason could go in there as well. I don't know if there's going to be enough room for all of those. Okay, that's looking kind of good. Let's make some labels real quick here. Field And then let's create the other ones as well. Otherwise we don't know what we're doing, we don't know what we're looking at. Real quick here. Created on, created by, and the reason given, if any. Okay, good. So now the idea would be that if I change a value here, for instance, the street name, that original street name, first of all, is kind of saved, is recorded. And then when I have made my change, FileMaker would have to check to see if that address that I have entered, if I've made any changes, because I could go in there and then go out of there again without making any change. So if no change has been made, I don't need to do anything. But if a change has been made, I do have to create a record in here. Now, how do I know if the value in that field has been changed or not? I would have to do two actions basically. When I enter this field, the value that's in that field at that moment needs to be kind of remembered. And if you've seen any of my other videos, to remember a value is to create a variable. So we will create a variable of the original value as soon as we enter this field, and then as we go out of this field again, we need to compare the current value with the value that we remembered. So the variable we created first with like a new variable. We also need to have the old and the new values both, so we need to create two different variables and then kind of compare them to each other. If they're not the same, then I need to create a record in there, and to create a record I will need to go to this portal, and I will already go ahead right now and give my portal a name. Audit Trail or log portal. Boom, I'm gonna need that later on. So how do we set a variable or remember the value when we enter a field? There are such things as script triggers, and they have different events. You have the onObjectEnter event, which is going to be a good one. So when we enter that object, that field, we need to remember the current value. And then probably somewhere when probably on the onObjectSave or on the onObjectExit is possible as well. One of those two, we might have to try it out a bit to see which one works best. I think either one of those will probably work. You can also check here what it does. The script will be run after changes to the selected active object are validated and saved. The script will be run when an attempt is made to exit the active selected object. So I think those two things are probably going to be pretty much the same. Alright, on object enter we need to remember the value that's there. Let's create a script for that. Let's go to script, manage scripts. Let's make a new script. Wow, this is a bit big for you guys, I guess. Boom, like this. The first script, how should we call it? Set old value as variable. That way we know exactly what we're doing. We're going to, and that's the annoying thing about an audit log. If you're kind of smart about it, you might be able to come up with original ways to limit the amount of scripts you need to make. But the annoying thing, I think, is that you're going to have to set this whole system up for each and every single field, and that does require a bit of work. I'm going to show you the simplest way to do this. To just set it up, I'm going to set it up on this field, and then you will have to use the same kind of script for and just copy it and adjust it for every single other field. I think that's going to be the easiest way to explain it. But what do we need to do? We set the old value for the address as a variable. So what we're going to do here is set variable. We're going to have to name this variable. Now, the important thing is this is going to be a very tiny script that's just going to save the address that's entered there as a variable, and then that script is going to stop. If we want to use this variable again later on, then we need to make this a global variable. So we need to use the double S sign. So if I would say old value in here, and I would go into the next field here to define the value, the variable automatically gets a $sign in front of it, but a $1 means that it's a local variable. We need this to be a global variable so that it can still be used after this script has ended. So we need to add a $sign here, so it says $sign old value, and then the old value in this case is going to be the address. Oops, this is again a bit big for you guys. So we just add by double clicking on address on the address field, it gets added in here. Okay, that's going to be our value, and that's it. Let's see if this works, because I don't know if this creation of this variable is going to drag us out of this field again or not. Let's just look. Let's save this script. Let's go on this address field. Let's set the script trigger on object enter. Set old value as new variable, and I haven't tried this out, so let's go ahead and look if this works or not. To try if this works, we need to use our script debugger, and it's a bit big. Let's scale it down a bit. And our data viewer. Let's get those. If you don't have those, you might need to use other tricks to get to know if this works or not. But if you have FileMaker Advanced, then you're gonna have these. Okay, let's exit our layout. Let's go into our field here. Let's click. The script is going to run. It's going to set variable. Let's allow this script to run. And this variable here has been created, old value, and this is because it's a global variable. It's still available now, and the value is Main Street 1. Okay, that's good. And our cursor is still in this field, so that's good. The next thing we need to do now is another script that creates the variable of the new, kind of the changed address, and then compares it to the old value. So let's go back to manage scripts. Let's duplicate this one, set new, or check. Let's call this one check new value against old value. Okay, we're going to set a variable. We're going to call this one new value, and this new value doesn't really have to be a global variable, so let's not do that, because we're going to create this variable in this script, check it against the old value, that's a global variable, and then we're going to see if we need to create a new record or not, and if we do, then we will create that record immediately in this script. So we have no need to have this variable after this script has been done. So it's the same value, and then now we need to do a check, and if it's kind of like an if situation. If the value has remained the same, we don't have to do anything. If the value is different, then we do need to record something here. If, and there are basically two things to keep in mind. If this address field was empty to begin with, then we probably don't want to create a record in this audit log. If the address was filled in the first place, then we do want to compare it. So let's maybe, how shall we do this? Shall we create two different if statements, or shall we maybe if not is empty $old value. If not is empty old value, so if the old value is not an empty value, if it's something. Oh wait, we're going to have to do if not is empty. We're going to have to do something like this. If not is empty old value. I don't know if this is going to work, because I don't know what a value is made if I don't have anything in here. Let's try this out. Let's save this one for now, and let's use our script debugger to see what happens if I empty this one out and I go in there. Then no variable is created. It's kind of interesting. Okay, good. So let's try this out. Main street 1. Let's go in there again. Okay, let's run the script. Okay, so the global this old value variable is only created if there's actually a value in there. Great. I think that then this will work. Check new value against old value. Okay, if not is empty old value, then we need to do our little check. So we're going to make a second if statement. If $sign new value does not equal $$ old value. So if our new address is not the same as our old address, then we're gonna have to do some creating here. Then we have to go, basically then we have to create an audit log record. And we need to store all those values, like the field name, the old value and the new value. And we need to ask for a reason as well. The way we could do that is to just go to the audit log table, but we're just going to stay on this layout, and we're just going to use go to object step, and then we need to enter the object name, and the object name, I'll just close this one for a second. I'll go to layout mode, click on the portal to get the portal name. It was audit log portal, so we're gonna go to object audit log portal. Then we are in the portal, and we're gonna say go to portal row last, because there we can enter a new value. I don't need to select the entire contents. Then we can say, because this, I'm gonna have a little look-see, save, exit layout. Because in our relationship graph we have set it up to allow creation of records, then if we go to the last portal row, we will always arrive in a portal row where we can just start entering new values. So that's kind of handy for us. Let's go back into our script. So we go to the portal, we go to the last portal row, and then we can just immediately enter the data that we want to enter. So let's do some set field steps. Let's say set field audit log field, and the field is going to be the address. That's very simple. You do need to put this in these kind of quotation marks, or how do you call these? Let's copy and paste this set field step, and let's say that the old value needs to be $$ old value as we create it. That's our initial address, and then in the new value field we need to put our new value, and if we remember correctly that was a local variable, so value, so that's only $1 sign. So we've got the address in there, the old value, the new value, and then let's start with that. Let's worry about the reason later on. Let's see, do we need to do anything else? Set those fields. Maybe we need to add a or maybe we can just, that's very simple. Let's just go to field, specify. I don't know if this is going to be handy or not. We're going to try this out right away. Reason. Okay, let's see if this works. Let's save this. Let's go back into a layout mode. Let's go back on this address field. Let's go to the set script triggers, and let's say, for instance, on object save. Why not? Let's try this out, see if this works. I've still got my, no I don't. I will pop up my script debugger again, exit the layout. Let's see what this all does. We're going into the main street address, and because my script debugger is still on, I'm going to see what happens here. He makes an old value variable main street 1. Let's go ahead and change this to main street 2. Now if I click outside here, that's gonna trigger that on object save script, and that's going to set the variable new value. Let's go ahead and step into here into my script to see what happens. So I've got my old value main street 1, my new value main street 2. If not is empty old value, it's not empty, so we're gonna go on. if new value is not equal to old value, which is it's not going to be the case, so we're going to go in here as well, go to object name audit portal log. So you should be going in there. I'm going to move this up a little bit. I'll just move this over here. Then go to portal row last. Well, there's only one. There's actually no portal row in there, so that's going to work like this. It's going to be the first one. Okay, so the field name was the address field. The old value is Main Street 1. The new value is Main Street 2. And then go to audit log. Let's see if we've actually gone there. Okay, now we're in that reason field. That's good. And this ends our script. Okay, let's close these two guys off. And let's try this again. Main Street 2 becomes Main Street 3. If I hit return, then I go straight into for this. I didn't end up here. Let's go and have a look. I should end up at the end. I should end in this field. Let's maybe select. I'll just do this one then. See if that works. Let's try this again. No, I don't seem to end up in this reason field, which is too bad, because that would have been cool, and I could immediately enter a value in here right away. Let's just check this one more time with the script debugger to see if this doesn't work, because it should be working. I don't need this one right now. Let's try this one more time. Let's run this script. Turn it into 5. Let's get out of here. I do end up in this field, but for some reason, when my script stops, I'm also out of this reason field here, which is too bad, because I could, but we can fix this differently. Let's go into manage scripts. Let's go and say, if the new value is not equal to the old value, let's just create a simple. Can we create a custom dialog that turns into a variable? Can we do that? Maybe we can simply use a simple global field in my contacts. Let's set global underscore reason as a text field, and let's make that a field that has global storage, and then we'll just use that field temporarily to enter the reason, and then that reason will then be put into our reason field at the end there. So let's go to our show custom dialog. Value changed. Please give the reason for the change. Give the reason for the change, and then that gives us an input field. Let's label it. Let's show input field 1. That's going to be G reason. Let's say reason. This doesn't really need a label, but let's do it anyway. Okay, so then we need to create a variable. Maybe before we do this, we need to set field. We need to set the reason field to an empty value, because otherwise the reason from the previous edit will still show up. Then we need to set this reason as a variable. Set variable. We need to create a variable called $reason, and this has the value of the G reason field. Okay, if you guys can't follow, this might sound complicated, but I'll explain it to you as we go through it in a second. Set variable, okay, and then we're gonna copy the set field here, and we're gonna say specify the field in the audit log reason. We're going to put the value of $reason. Okay, let's figure out what we've just done. Let's use our script debugger, and let's just try this out, see if this works. Let's just try this out like this live first. Main Street 6, please please, I see a typo. Give a reason for the change. Customer moved. Okay, and now this reason shows up in here. Let's make our portal a little bit bigger. 7. And let's do this again, and let's go through it using the script debugger to see what's actually going on. Let's not do this. Let's go to Tool, Script Debugger, and Data Viewer. So let's try and get these on the side here a little bit. Let's make this one a bit smaller, and then let's put this one up top here. Okay, let's see what's going on. If we go into this field, we create our old value. That's good. So old value is created, Main Street 6. Let's turn this into Main Street 7. As soon as we go out, our script kicks in. And what do we do here? We check if the old value is not empty, because then we don't need to create an audit log. If it's not empty, then we go on. If the new value is different from the old value, as you can see here in the contact G reason field, that old customer moved reason is still in there. So the first set field is going to empty that field for us. Let's do that right now, and boom, you can see here now that global reason field has been emptied. That's good, because now we're going to show our custom dialog that asks us, please give the reason, and it still has that typo, I should change that. Please give the reason for the change. No reason given. Okay, so now the global reason field in the context table contains that value, but that value is going to be set into a variable, and then that variable, actually I don't even have to create that variable. I could just get that value, because it's a global value. I could just set this field log reason with instead of the variable $reason, I could just set the field from this field directly, but I've just set a variable now. That works as well. You can do it either way. I'll change it in a second so you can see the other way of how you can do this. Then we go to our portal, we go to the last row, we set the field, old value, new value, and the reason. We set the reason from our variable, and then we go, this go to field wasn't working anyway, so let's forget about that one. Boom, and then we have this whole thing. Let's go back in here for a second. We needed to correct this typo, and we can remove this one, or we can give this a try by just dropping this down. Audit log reason. I don't really know if this is gonna work better or not. Let's try this one more time. 8 test. Now we just never end up in this field. Maybe it's because it's in a portal. Maybe that's why. I'm not sure why that's not working. But we've created that custom dialog to deal with that problem. So basically, our script can have that go to field step removed, because we don't need it anymore. And actually I could also remove this variable that's being created, and here I could just say that my result needs to be from contact that G reason field, and that's gonna work just fine as well. Let's save this, let's close this, let's try it one last time. Let's turn 8 into, whoops, 8 is the same, and good thing nothing happens. Let's turn this into 9, and let's see, our 9 shows up here, and our audit log is working. Now if we want to get this done for all the fields, then basically we will have to duplicate our script, and we'll have to maybe add in the name here what field it's looking at. Then we need to change our variables, like address needs to become first name. The what else do we need to change here? These can all stay. This one here needs to become first name, because it's not the address, it's first name. Oops, and we can just do this. I think the rest can stay the same. Let's do this. So I think that that's actually already it. We need to go to set script triggers. On object enters we set the old value as a variable, and on our on object save we set the first name here. Let's try this out if it works. I didn't really pay attention, but let's just make John into Joe. Please give the reason. Mistake was made. Okay. And now the field is the first name. The old value was Main Street 9, so that's not correct. There is something going wrong here. I think I know what's going wrong. I should, because this old value, this needs to be duplicated as well. It's setting the old value from the address field, and it should be getting that from the first name field. So this one here is not contact address, but this one is contact first name. Okay, so we do need to duplicate them all, so that makes it a bit more well, difficult. It's gonna create a hell of a lot of work for you if you have a big database with a lot of fields and you have to do this for every single Joe becomes Jack. Oopsie. And our whoopsie says that the first name of Joe became Jack on this timestamp by this user. If you have different users with different usernames, then these will show up here. And this seems to be working now as well. So again, as I said, if you have a lot of fields, then this could be difficult. And then you can maybe change your scripts a little bit so that the variable that you're setting here is not from a fixed field, but more that it's like the active object, and then you can maybe use less scripts where you just say get the variable from the active object, and you can use that in this script as well. But that makes it all a bit more difficult to understand, so I'm not going to get into that right now. I think this is a very simple example of what an audit log could be like. So I would suggest you guys play around with this and try it out. Alright, ciao.